Hi guys, I'm back. Today I'm going to read Leviticus 19 to 24, Proverbs 17, and Psalm 110. Let's get started. And the Lord spoke to me, saying, Speak to all the congregation of the people of Israel and say to them, You shall be holy, for I am the Lord your God, and holy. Every one of you shall revere his mother and his father, and you shall keep my Sabbaths. I am the Lord your God. Do not turn to idols or make for yourselves any gods to cast metal. I am the Lord your God. When you offer a sacrifice of peace offerings to the Lord, you shall offer it so that you may be accepted. It shall be eaten the same day he offered on the day or on the day after, and anything left over until the third day shall be burned out with fire. If it is eaten all on the third day, it is tainted, and it will not be accepted. And anyone who eats it shall bear his iniquity, because he has profaned what is holy to the Lord. And that person shall be cut off from his people. When you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not reap your field right up to its edge, neither shall you gather the gleanings after your harvest. And you shall not strip your vineyard bare, neither shall you gather the fallen grapes of your vineyard. You shall leave them for the poor and for the sojourner. I am the Lord your God. You shall not steal, you shall not deal falsely, you shall not lie to one another, you shall not swear by my name falsely, and so profane the name of your God. I am the Lord. You shall not oppress your neighbor and rob or rob them. The wages of a hired worker shall not remain with you all night until the morning. You shall not curse the deaf or put a stumbling block before the blind, but you shall fear the Lord, fear your God. I am the Lord. You shall do no justice in court. You shall not be partial. You shall do no injustice in court. You shall not be partial to the poor or defer to the great, but in righteousness shall you judge your neighbor. You shall not go around as a slanderer among your people, and you shall not stand up against the life of your neighbor. I am the Lord. You shall not hate your brother in your heart, and you shall reason frankly with your neighbor, lest you incur sin because of him. You shall not take vengeance or bear a grudge against the sons of your own people. Yet you shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord. You shall keep my statutes. You shall not let your cattle breed with a different kind. You shall not sow your field with two kinds of seed, nor shall you wear a garment of cloth made of two kinds of material. If a man lies sexually with a woman who is a slave assigned to another man and not let ransom or given her freedom, a distinction shall be made. They shall not be put to death because she was not free, but she shall bring as compensation before the Lord to the entrance of the tournament, a ram for a guilt offering, and the priest shall make atonement for him with the ram of the guilt offering before the Lord for a sin that he has committed, and he shall be forgiven for the sin that he has committed. When you come into the land and plant any kind of tree for food, then you shall regard its fruit as forbidden. It shall be forbidden to you, it must not be eaten. And in the fourth year all fruit shall be holy, an offering of praise to the Lord. But in the fifth year you may eat of its fruit, to increase its yield before you. I am the Lord your God. You shall not eat any flesh with the blood in it. You shall not interpret omens or tell fortunes. You shall not round off the hair on your temples or mar the edges of your beard. You shall not make any cuts on your body before the dead or tattoo yourself. I am the Lord. Do not profane your daughter by making her a prostitute. Lest the land fall into prostitution and the land become full to depravity. You shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Lord. Do not turn to mediums and necromancers. Do not seek them out. So make yourselves unclean by me. I am the Lord your God. You shall stand up before the grey-haired and honor the face of an old man, and you shall fear your God. I am the Lord. When the stranger sojourns with you in your land, you shall not do them wrong. You shall treat the stranger who sojourns with you as a native among you, but you shall love him as yourself. As for you are strangers in the land of Egypt, I am the Lord your God. You shall do no wrong in judgment, in measures of length or weight or quantity. You shall have just balances, just weight, and just effort, and a just hand. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt. And you shall observe all my statutes and all my laws, and do them. I am the Lord. The Lord spoke to me, say to the people of Israel, any one of the people of Israel or of the strangers who sojourn in Israel, who gives any of his children to Molech, shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones, and I myself will set my face against that man and cut him off from among his people, because he has given one of his children to Molech, to make my sanctuary unclean, and to profane my holy name. And if the people of the land do at all close their eyes to that man when he gives one of his children to Molech, and do not put him to death, then I will set my face against that man and against his clan, and will cut him off from among their people. Him and all who follow him in the whoring after Molech. If a person turns to mediums and necromancers, whoring after them, I will set my face against that person and cut him off from among my people, his people. Consecrate yourselves, therefore, and be holy, for I am the Lord your God. Keep my statutes and do them. I am the Lord who sanctifies you. For anyone who tells his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. He has cursed his father or his mother. His blood is upon him. If a man commits adultery with the wife of his neighbor, both the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. If a man lies with his father's wife, he has uncovered his father's nakedness. Both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood is upon them. If a man lies with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall surely be put to death. They have committed perversion. Their blood is upon them. If a man lies with a male as with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood is upon them. If a man takes a woman and her mother, so is depravity. He and they shall be burned with fire, that there may be no depravity among them. If a man lies with an animal, he shall surely be put to death, and you shall kill the animal. If a woman approaches any animal and lies with it, then you shall kill the woman and the animal. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood is upon them. If a man takes a sister, a daughter of his father, or a daughter of his mother, and sees her nakedness, and she sees his nakedness, it is a disgrace, and they shall be cut off in the sight of the children of their people. He has uncovered his sister's nakedness, and he shall bear his iniquity. If a man lies with a woman during her menstrual period and uncovers her nakedness, he has made naked a fountain, and she is uncovered the fountain of her blood. Both of them shall be cut off from among their people. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your mother's sister or of your father's sister, for that is to make naked one's relative. They shall bear their iniquity. If a man lies with his uncle's wife, he has uncovered his uncle's nakedness. They shall bear their sin. They shall die childless. If a man takes his brother's wife, is impurity. He has uncovered his brother's nakedness. They shall be childless. You shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my rules and do them, that the land where I am bringing you to live may not vomit you out. And you shall not walk in the customs of the nation that I am driving out before you. They did all these things, and therefore I detested them. I said to you, you shall inherit their land, and I will give it to you to possess, a land flowing with milk and honey. I am the Lord your God, who separate you from the peoples. You shall therefore separate the clean beast and the unclean bird from the clean. You shall not make yourselves detestable by beast or by bird or by anything which the ground crawls, which I have set apart to you to hold unclean. You shall be holy to me, for I, the Lord, am holy, and have separated you from the peoples. Now you should be mine. A man or a woman who is a medium or a necromancer shall surely be put to death. They shall be stoned with stones, their blood shall be upon them. And the Lord said to me, speak to the priests, the sons of Aaron, and say to them, no one shall make himself unclean with the dead among the people, except for his closest relatives, his mother, father, his son, his daughter, and his brother, or his virgin sister. And he shall not make himself unclean as a husband among the people, and so profane himself. They shall not make bald patches on their heads, nor shave off the edges of their beards, nor make any cuts on their body. And they shall be holy to their God, and not profane the name of the God. For they offer the Lord's food offerings, the bread of their God. Therefore they shall be holy. They shall not marry a prostitute or a woman who has been filled. Neither shall they marry a woman divorced from her husband. For the priest is holy to his God. You shall sanctify you, for he offers the bread of your God. You shall be holy to you, for I, the Lord, who sanctify you, am holy. And the daughter of any priest, if she profanes herself by whoring, profanes her father, she shall be burned with fire. The priest who is chief among his brothers, on whose head is the anointing oil, is poured, and who is consecrated, being consecrated to wear the garments, shall not let the hair of his head hang loose, nor tear his clothes. He shall not go into any dead bodies, nor make himself unclean, even for his father or for his mother. He shall not go out of the sanctuary, lest he profane the sanctuary of his God. When the consecration of the anointing oil and of his God is on him, and the Lord, and he shall take a wife in her virginity, a widow, or a divorced woman, or a woman who has been defiled, or a prostitute. These he shall not marry. But he shall take his wife as a virgin of the sanctified people, that he may not profane his offspring among his people. I am the Lord who sanctifies him. And the Lord spake to Moses, saying, speak to Aaron, and say, none of your offspring throughout their generations who has a blemish may approach to offer the bread of his calf. And no one who has a blemish shall join you. And a man blind the lame, or one who has a mutilated face, or living too long, or a man who has an injured foot, or an injured hair, or a hunchback, or a dwarf, or a man with a defect in his side, or an itching disease, or scabs or crushed testicles. No man of the offspring of Aaron the priest who has a blemish shall come near to offer the Lord's food offering, since he has a blemish. He shall not come near to offer the bread of God, his God. He may eat the bread of his God, both of the most holy and of the holy thing. He shall not go through the veil or approach the altar, because he has a blemish, that he may not profane my sanctuaries. I am the Lord who sanctifies them. So Moses spake to Aaron and to his sons and to all the people of Israel, And the Lord spake to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron and his sons, so that they abstain from the holy things of the people of Israel, which they did to Kate to me. Abstain from the holy, so that they do not profane my holy name. I am the Lord. Say to him, if any one of all your offspring throughout your generations approaches the holy thing, that the people of Israel dedicate to the Lord, and when he has an uncleanness, that person shall depart from my presence. I am the Lord. None of the offspring of Aaron who has a leprous disease or a discharge may eat of the holy things until he is clean. Whoever touches anything that is unclean through contact with the dead or a man who has an emission of sin, and whoever touches a swollen thing by which he is made unclean, or a person from whom he may take uncleanness, whatever his uncleanness may be, the person who touches such thing shall be unclean until the evening. He shall not eat of the holy things unless he has bathed his body in water. And when the sun goes down, he shall be clean, and afterward he may eat of the holy things, because they are food. He shall not eat what dies of itself or is torn by beasts, and so make himself unclean by it. I am the Lord, and he shall therefore keep my charge, lest he bear sin for it and die thereby when they profane. I am the Lord who sanctifies them. A lay person shall not eat of a holy thing. No foreign guest of the priest or hired worker shall eat of a holy thing. But if a priest buys a slave as property for money, the slave may eat of it, and anyone born in his house may eat of his food. If a priest's daughter marries a layman, he shall not eat of the contribution of the holy things. But if a priest's daughter is widowed or divorced or has no child and returns to her father's house, as in the youth, she may eat of her father's food, yet no lay person shall eat of it. And if anyone eats of a holy thing untouchable, he shall add a fifth of its value to it and give the holy thing to the priest. You shall not profane the holy things of the people of Israel, which they contribute to the Lord, and so cause them to bear iniquity and guilt, even their holy things. For I am the Lord who sanctifies them. And the Lord spake to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron and his sons and all the people of Israel, and say to them, when any one of the house of Israel or of the C.Jun in Israel presents a burnt offering, has this offering for any of their vows or freewill offerings, and if they offer to the Lord, and if it is to be accepted for you, it shall be a male without blemish, of the bulls or of the sheep or the goats. You shall not offer anything that has a blemish, for it will not be acceptable to you. For when anyone offers sacrifice of peace offerings to the Lord to fulfill the vow, or as a freewill offering from the herd from his flock, to be accepted, it must be perfect. They shall be no blemish in it. Animals blind or disabled, or mutilated, or having a discharge or an itch or scabs, you shall not offer to the Lord, or give them to the Lord as a free offering on the altar. You may present a bull or a lamb that has a part too long or too short for a free will offering. For a vow offering, it cannot be accepted. Any animal that has its testicles bruised or crushed or torn or cut, you shall not offer to the Lord. You shall not do it within your land. Neither shall you offer as the bread of your God any such animals gotten from a foreigner, since there is a blemish in them because of their mutilation. They will not be accepted for you. And the Lord spake to Moses, saying, when an ox or a sheep or goat is born, it shall remain 7 days with its mother. And from the 8th itch on it, it shall be acceptable as a food offering to the Lord. But you shall not kill an ox or a sheep, and a young in 1 day. And you sacrifice the sacrifice of thanksgiving to the Lord. You shall sacrifice it so that you may be accepted. It shall be eaten on the same day, that you shall leave none of it until morning. I am the Lord. So you shall keep my commandments and do them. I am the Lord, and you shall not profane my holy name, that I may be sanctified among the people of Israel. I am the Lord who sanctifies you, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord. The Lord spake to Moses, saying, Speak to the people of Israel and say to them, These are the anointed feasts of the Lord, and you shall proclaim at mine as a holy convocation. These are my appointed feasts. 6 days you shall work be done, but on the 7th day is the Sabbath of solemn rest, a holy convocation. You shall do no work. It is a Sabbath to the Lord in all your dwelling places. These are the appointed feasts of the Lord, a holy convocation, which you shall proclaim at the table of your father. In the 1st month, on the 14th day of the month at twilight, is the Lord's Passover, and on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread to the Lord. For 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. On the first day you shall have a holy convocation. You shall not do any ordinary work, but you shall present a free offering to the Lord for 7 days. On the 7th day is a holy convocation. You shall not do any ordinary work. And the Lord spake to Moses, saying, Speak to the people of Israel, and say to them, when you come into the land that I give you, and reap his harvest, you shall bring the sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest to the priest, and you shall wave the sheaf before the Lord, so that you may be accepted. On the day after the Sabbath the priest shall wave it, and on the day when you wave the sheaf, you shall offer a male lamb a year old without blemish as a burnt offering to the Lord. And the grain offering with it shall be 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil, a food offering to the Lord with a pleasing aroma. And And the drink offering with it shall be of wine, a fourth of a hin. And ye shall eat neither bread nor grain parched or fresh until the same day, until you have brought the offering of your God. It is a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. You shall count 7 full weeks from the day after the Sabbath to the day that you brought the shepherd the wave offering. You shall count 50 days to the day after the 7th Sabbath. And you shall present a grain offering of new grain to the Lord. You shall bring from your dwelling place 2 loaves of bread to be waved, made of 2/10 of an ephah. They shall be of fine flour, and they shall be baked with leaven as first fruits to the Lord. And you shall present with the bread 7 lambs a year, without blemish, and 1 bull from the herd, and 2 rams. They shall be a burnt offering to the Lord, with a grain offering, and a drink offering, food offering with a pleasing aroma to the Lord. You shall offer 1 male goat for a sin offering, and 2 male lambs a year as a sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall wave them with the bread of the first fruits as a wave offering before the Lord, with the 2 rams. It shall be holy to the Lord of the priest. And you shall make a proclamation on the same day. You shall hold a holy convocation. You shall not do any ordinary work. It is a statute forever in all your dwelling places throughout your generations. And when you reap the harvest of the land, you shall not reap the field right up to its edge, nor shall you gather the gleanings after your harvest. You shall leave them for the poor and for the sojourner. And the Lord your God. And the Lord spake to Moses, saying, Speak to the people of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, on the 1st day of the month, and you shall observe a day of solemn rest. A memorial proclaiming the blast of trumpets, a holy convocation. You shall not do any ordinary work, and you shall present free offering to the Lord. And the Lord spake to Moses, saying, Now on this 10th day of this 7th month is the day of atonement. You shall be to you a time of holy convocation. And you shall afflict yourselves and present a free offering to the Lord. And you shall not do any work on that very day, for it is a day of atonement. And to make atonement for you before the Lord your God. Whoever is not afflicted on that very day shall be cut off from the people. And whoever does work on that day, any work on that very day, that person I will destroy from among the people. You shall not do any work. It is a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwelling places. It shall be to you a Sabbath of solemn rest. And you shall afflict yourselves on the 9th day of the month, beginning at evening, evening to evening, shall you keep your Sabbath. And the Lord spake to Moses, saying, Speak to the people of Israel, saying, On the 15th day of this 7th month, and for 7 days is the feast of booths to the Lord. And the first day shall be a holy convocation. You shall not do any ordinary work. For 7 days you shall present food offerings to the Lord. On the 8th day you shall hold a holy convocation, and present a food offering to the Lord. It is a solemn assembly. You shall not do any ordinary work. These are the appointed feasts of the Lord, which shall proclaim as times of holy convocation, for presenting the Lord food offerings, burnt offerings and grain offerings, sacrifices and drink offerings, each on his proper day, besides the Lord's Sabbath, and besides your gifts, and besides all your vow offerings, and besides all your freewill offerings, which you give to the Lord on the 15th day of the 7th month. When you gather in the produce of the land, you shall celebrate the feast of the Lord 7 days. And on the first day shall be a solemn rest, and on the 8th day shall be a solemn rest. And you shall take on the first day the fruit of smelling trees, branches of palm trees, and boughs of leafy trees, and words of the God. And you shall rejoice before the Lord your God 7 days. You shall celebrate the feast of the Lord for 7 days in the year. It is a statute forever throughout your generations. You shall celebrate it in the 7th month. You shall dwell in booths for 7 days. All native Israelites shall dwell in booths, that your generations may know that I made the people of Israel dwell in booths when I brought them out of the land of Egypt. And the Lord your God. Thus Moses declared to the people of Israel the appointed feast of the Lord. And the Lord spake to Moses, saying, Command the people of Israel to bring you pure oil from bitter olives for the lamp, and a light may be kept burning regularly. And outside the veil of the testimony in the tent, Aaron shall arrange it from evening to morning before the Lord regularly. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generation. You shall arrange the lamps of the lampstand of pure gold before the Lord regularly. You shall take the fine flour and bake 12 loaves from it. 2/10 of an ephah shall be in each loaf. And you shall set them in 2 piles, 6 in a pile, and the table of pure gold before the Lord. You shall put pure frankincense on each palm, that it may go with the bread as a memorial portion and as a food offering to the Lord. Every Sabbath day Aaron shall arrange it before the Lord regularly. As from the people of Israel is covenant forever, and it shall be for Aaron and to his sons. And they shall eat it in the holy place, since it is for him a most holy portion and the Lord's food offering, a perpetual Jew. And an Israelite's woman's son, whose father was an Egyptian, went out among the people of Israel. And the Israelite's woman's son and a man of Israel fought in the camp. And the Israelite's woman's son blasphemed and cursed. And they brought him to Moses. His mother's name was Shelomith, the daughter of Deborah of the tribe of Dan. And they put him in custody till the will of the Lord should be clear to him. And then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Bring out of the camp the one who cursed, and let all who heard him lay their hands on his head, and let all the congregation stand with him. And then speak to the people of Israel, saying, Whoever curses his God shall bear his sin. Whoever blasphemes the name of the Lord shall surely be put to death. And all the congregation shall stone him, stranger as well as a native. When he blasphemes the name shall be put to death. Whoever takes a human life shall surely be put to death. Whoever takes an animal's life shall make it good, life for life. If anyone injures his neighbor, as he is done, it shall be done to him. Fracture will fracture, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. Whatever injury he has given a person, it shall be given to him. Whoever kills an animal shall make it good, and whoever kills a person shall be put to death. You shall have the same law for the sojourner and for the native. For I am the Lord your God. So Moses spoke to the people of Israel, and they brought out of the camp the one who had cursed and stoned him with stones. Thus the people of Israel did as the Lord had commanded Moses. Proverbs 16. Proverbs 17. It is a dry morsel with pride than a house full of feasting with strife. And someone who deals wisely will rule over a son actually evil, and will share the inheritance as one of the brothers. The crucible is full of silver, and the furnace is for gold. But the Lord tests hearts, and evildoer listens to wicked lips, and the liar gives ear to a mischievous tongue. Whoever mocks the poor insults his maker. He who is glad at calamity will not go unpunished. Grandchildren are the crown of the aged, and the glory of children is their fathers. Fine speech is not becoming to a fool. Still less is false speech to a prince. Bribe is like a magic stone in the eyes of the one who gives it. Whenever he turns, he prospers. Whoever covers an offense seeks love. He who repeats a matter separates close friends. A rebuke goes deep into the man of understanding, and 100 blows into a fool. An evil man seeks only rebellion, and a cruel messenger will be sent against. Then a man meet a sheep-bearer robbed of a calf rather than a fool in his folly. If anyone returns evil for good, he will not depart from his house. The beginning of strife is like letting out water, so quit before the quarrel breaks out. He justifies the wicked, and he condemns the righteous, who are both like an abomination to the Lord. Why should a fool have money in his hand to buy wisdom when he has no sense? A friend loves at all times, a brother is born for adversity. And the one who lacks sense gives a pledge and puts of security in the presence of his neighbor. Whoever loves transgression loves strife. He who makes a door high seeks destruction. A man of crooked heart does not discover good, but one with a dishonest tongue falls into calamity. He who sighs a fool gets himself suffering. The father of a fool has no joy. A joyful heart is good medicine. A crushed spirit dries up the bones. A wicked accepts a bribe in secret. Pervert the ways of justice. The discerning sets his face toward wisdom. The eyes of the fool are on the ends of the earth. The foolish son is a grief to his father. The bitterness to hurry boy, and an imposed fine on the righteous man is not good. Do not distract them ever with arrogance. Whoever restrains the words is knowledge, and he who has a cool spirit is a man of understanding. Even a fool keeps silent. Is considered wise. When he closes his lips, he is deemed intelligent. Psalm 110. The Lord said to my Lord, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool. The Lord said forth from Zion, your mighty scepter, rule in the midst of your enemies. Your people will offer themselves freely on the day of your power in holy garments from the womb of the morning. During your youth will be yours. The Lord has sworn and will not change his mind. You are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. The Lord is at your right hand. He will shatter kings on the day of his wrath. He will execute judgment among the nations, filling them with corpses. And he will shatter chiefs over the wide earth. He will drink from the brook by the way. Therefore he will lift up his head. Now the stand Heshen added with Lord there. Whose very heads are fallen in heaven. Hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we also forgive our debtors. He's not into temptation, but delivers from the evil one. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. See you tomorrow. Bye.